For the second time in 3 years, the Edmonton Oilers are off to the Western Conference Final. Edmonton 3, Vancouver 2. This series is over. Oilers in 7. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the GCL Diesel Oil Stream postgame show here on Edmonton Sports Talk. Tom Gazzola, YouTube Trev with you. Matt Kassian will be joining us shortly, our game analyst, as the Oilers eliminate the Vancouver Canucks in dramatic fashion. It got tight at the end. You knew Vancouver was going to push, and push they did. They got one on a terrible giveaway in the slot. Where have we seen that before? They got another one on a point shot after a bad icing. Where have we seen that before? But the difference tonight, the Oilers, with over 5 minutes left, buckle it down, make the Canucks regroup, get the puck out of their own zone, and manage to hold the fort for the 3-2 win, bucking the trend of win one, lose one, win one, lose one in this series. And Edmonton punches its ticket to Dallas for Game 1 of the Western Conference Final on Thursday night, 6:30 p.m., puck drop our time in Alberta. How are we feeling out there, Oil Country? Text us 780-218-9999. Get into the nasty chat. Do your thing. I saw so many people elated in Oil Country after that big win. Of course, GCL Diesel, Edmonton's diesel fuel system specialists and providers of critical engine components for over 50 years. 780-218-9999. Text us or get in the nasty chat on YouTube. Let's quickly get YouTube Trev on here. I know you're about to tweet something, but how you doing? I mean, it got pretty stressful in here.
I'd say
you, my brother Paul. Oh my goodness, you guys were.
Holy
even
crap.
I was like on the edge of my seat. What's going on? This is
insane.
crazy.
You knew that the Oilers were gonna make it interesting, but Tommy, I mean, you can't. It was just great. At one point, the shots were like 23-4.
Yeah.
Like halfway through the game. So credit to the Canucks. You saw it in Game 1 of this series. They brought it back. Then they won that game eventually. But learning from your mistakes, maybe that's what you guys will talk about a little bit later on in the show. But I mean, vibes are great. I'm so happy right now. The nasty chat is just buzzing. Oh, let's go! Like I'm pumped. The conference finals, the Oilers, Dallas. Those are two great teams. I cannot wait to watch some phenomenal hockey.
Yes.
I loved everything about tonight. It was so sick, and the Oilers did it, man. Like it was great. McDavid, maybe not his best outing, but whatever. They got it done. The jobs they got it done tonight, Tommy. They did. Stuart Skinner, I thought he looked okay as well tonight. So yeah, the vibes are electric right now. I'm in a tremendous mood. So if you're new to the channel, leave a like. Let's go. Let's see if we can get this to like 200, 300 likes. Like let's do it. The Oilers just advanced to the Western Conference Finals. The job's not finished, but hey, they're halfway there, and I mean this is just awesome. It really is.
Boom. Here we go. Edmonton 3-2 winners tonight over the Vancouver Canucks. It is Edmonton and Dallas for the first time since, 2002, 2003, somewhere around there. And let's see them renew that rivalry this time. Not in the first round, not in the second round, but in the third round. Let's do what we do best, and let's get to the game story as Edmonton knocks off Vancouver. In the second period, no scoring in the first, I will add. Cody Ceci, just like everyone knew he would, picks up his second of the postseason. The shot finds its way through Brett Kulak and Dylan Holloway with the helpers. So some unusual suspects providing offense. That goal coming a minute 16 in off the CC slapper. Then, not long after, just over 4.5 minutes later, Zachary Hyman, his 11th of the playoffs from Evan Bouchard and Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. Good face-off win. And it was Hyman. Oh, no, it was actually the fourth line with a really good shift. And then they got the change, and they worked the puck back to Bouchard. He fires it, get the redirection off of Hyman's stick, and in at 5:50, 2-zip Oilers. Then before the period was up, 10 minutes later, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins on the power play. We said, hey, the power play probably wasn't going to go 0 for again. Well, it converts. Nugent-Hopkins, his fourth off the Karam, off the backboards, off the Bouchard shot. Draisaitl, the second assist, 3-zip Edmonton. I think a lot of people in Oil Country were breathing a bit easier, but you knew Vancouver would press. And the Oilers, when they're not having success. They're generally shooting themselves in the foot. Well, the outlet pass to Ryan McLeod in his own zone. He bobbles it. Yes, we heard about the bad ice. Derek Van Diest was talking about that. Vancouver takes advantage. Connor Garland, unassisted, third of the postseason. All of a sudden, a little life in the building, a little bit of life on the bench. And you could see Vancouver pressing, Edmonton sitting back, trying to hold that 2-goal lead. That goal coming at 11:27. And then Evan Bouchard ices the puck off the faceoff. Lindholm to Hughes to Hronik. Slapper gets by Stuart Skinner. Matthias Ekholm in front. They didn't see it, I don't think, at 15:24. Edmonton in for a crucial test, and they managed to bend and not break, hold the fort the rest of the way, and pick up the 3-2 victory, as that was as close as the Canucks would get. Shots on goal in this one, like Trev mentioned, Edmonton was dominating at one point, 13-2 after the first. The Oilers would add 14 shots in the second to Vancouver's 10. Edmonton gets 2 shots in the third. Vancouver just 5 shots on goal at the end of the night, 29-17 in favor of the Edmonton Oilers. Face-off percentage all series long. This trend continued. The Canucks, the better team on the dot, 55.5 or 55.4% to 44.6. Power play for the Oil, 1 for 2. PK, very good. 3 for 3 on this night. Hits, 40 for Vancouver, 21 for the Oilers. Block shots, 21 for the Oilers to 8 for the Canucks. Giveaways, 5 apiece. Takeaways, 6 for the Oil, 2 for Vancouver. 780-218-9999. Text us or get in the nasty chat. I'm trying to get to as many as I can as we go through the show, but it is time to bring in the big man, our game analyst, Matt Kassian, who is standing by. Cass, 3-2. The Oilers win Game 7 and are off to the Western Conference Final again. What did you think of that performance in an elimination situation once again for the Oil?
Yeah, well, 2 periods were great, and then 1 period was stressful. And it starts, of course it was. And, I had some people over here watching too, enjoying the game. And one of them, my buddy Kurt, who is a Vancouver fan, and he comes by it naturally. We don't fault him that. He cheers for the Oilers too. Like, he lives here now, but he's got roots. He was very stressed out the whole game.
Understandable.
But, Tommy, you can kind of feel it. It started with McLeod, as I sent you that message. Is like the whole thing, horrible turnover. I don't care if the ice was bad. You can't have that happen.
No.
But they almost did it to themselves again. So it was way more stressful than it needed to be. There was no life. It was completely dead. And then you have a absolutely horrendous bobble in your own zone, which breathes life into a Vancouver team. Now, it made it exciting in the last couple minutes, made it stressful in the last couple minutes. But at the end of the day, Tom, they got the job done and they did what they needed to do. And you are on to the next round, which is ultimately a mission accomplished.
You could just see it on McLeod's face, couldn't you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Because it was horrible.
Right.
Because you can't, on what planet can, last guy back in your own zone, up 3-0 in the third period with 8 minutes left in a Game 7 to bobble that puck. Oof. Yeah, that's, you could see it on his face. Rightfully so. It was bad.
Okay. Some unsung heroes or some guys that rose to the occasion on this night, Cass. I'm going to bounce some names off you. Well, Cece, the goal. All right.
Yep.
I have a lot of time for what Dylan Holloway did tonight. Derek Ryan. And I'll give credit to Connor Brown for his defensive efforts. Yeah. Again, I'll reiterate what I tweeted earlier. Klimo would have buried that breakaway.
So anyway, same buddy Kurt, we were sitting there and he was just losing his mind, and then they get the break, Edmonton, on the power play, or on the penalty kill, and he's going down and he just starts freaking out while it's happening, and I was like, Kurt, it's Brown. And then he obviously didn't score. I was like, he's not going to score.
No, exactly. Am I crazy to bring up some of those names and their contributions tonight?
No, well, Cody Ceci plays just about 20 minutes, blast that goal. Not seeing a lot of people just throwing him under the bus like they typically do today. Great shot. What a shot that was. Just absolutely blasted. It picks picks the corner for sure from not a fantastic angle, but just an absolute laser beam. So yeah, I think it's fair to say him. Holloway's game, I agree with you. I really liked Holloway's game today as well. And it's not like he played a million minutes, but was tenacious. I think that was a word that I would use to describe Dylan Holloway's game today, was tenacious. Really like that part of his game. And, you know, I know I made fun of him not being able to score on the breakaway, but Connor Brown did. Solid game. That whole third line again, Tommy, was they were solid. They were very, very good. And as you already pointed out, you know, working through a line, getting some ozone time, getting off, and then you're not the guys that get the goal ultimately, but yeah, they had some good work by the bottom six as well. So
Vinny Desharnais.
I just highlighted because I try to highlight like on this sheet who I'm talking about, so I have their stats in front of me, and I just highlighted Vinny Desharnais stuff because I was just thinking that. I thought he was solid again. Let me think on the one, because there's one play. I want to go back to my own notes here. I wouldn't maybe have him in the same category, but let me just see. I want to see on the first goal again, because I think on the first goal with Vinny, I didn't like. I mean, there's outlet pass. Yeah, see, the one thing with Vinny, I would say this is nitpicky, is after he makes that outlet pass to the middle, he gets stuck on the wall and isn't quick enough to get back in. That's really nitpicky. That was the only thing where I was like, oh, maybe unsung hero not. But again, you know, depth player that played a fair amount of minutes on your back end that, you know, showed up enough to get you the win.
780-218-9999. The Oilers off to face the Dallas Stars in the Western Conference Final. I had friends from other markets, Cass, texted me, Dallas in 5. Enjoy a short series. Let's wait a day or two before we start making those conclusions. But certainly others, friends and peers in the National Hockey League from other markets like to chime in and razz us. But this fan base and this hockey market does go gaga when situations like this, and they're easily baited into those conversations. But today they can rejoice and enjoy a win over the Vancouver Canucks. Cass, was there anything else that like really stood out to you? Was, you know, decision making, defensive zone play, responsible play? Like it didn't seem like there was a lot of brain farts. The one on McLeod certainly cost them. One. Maybe the icing by Bouchard, but you're trying to just relieve the pressure. They knew they were losing.
You're trying to relieve the
face-offs.
pressure.
Yeah,
I liked the decision to call timeout after the second goal, just to say, let's just pump the brakes. Like, we're okay. We still have the lead. Yeah, they have momentum. Let's slow it down. We're fine. Like that decision. Yeah, there weren't a ton of bad. Again, they played like the first two periods, Tom. They were incredibly solid. The first two periods, and really the first half of the third period as well. I mean, they were incredibly solid up until Ryan McLeod turned that puck over, where there weren't a lot of mistakes made. And then that happens, and all of a sudden momentum swung, and then it was back on their heels, where Vancouver, before that point, it really seemed like Vancouver didn't really feel like they had a chance to win the hockey game.
Right.
And then they get that first goal. That was kind of the feeling to me, whereas like once Edmonton scored first, you know, and they had been controlling the play up until that point, it kind of felt like Vancouver sagged even more, where it was like, oh, we're probably not going to win this. We don't have Besser in the lineup. Like, just couldn't generate. But they got that first one, and then all of a sudden it was like, wait a second, there's 8 minutes left. You know, you kind of see everybody look at the clock and go like, okay, we're on the board. Like, let's go. And then the crowd feels that too, and then which fuels the adrenaline on the bench for the players as well. And again, I don't buy into always like the crowd doesn't. In every situation, you don't have as much impact as you'd like to think you have as a fan from the crowd. You know, you're yelling at the players; they don't hear you typically. But you can feel in the building when there's momentum shifts like that, and I think you could feel it in that building, and you could see it on Vancouver's bench, and you could see it on the ice as well. But there wasn't really anything, Tommy, we can nitpick prior to that, because it's like, you played for 52 minutes, a incredibly solid game where you just didn't give up much. I mean, you let a couple breakaway opportunities or mini breakaways early on that I didn't like. But beyond that, you were solid.
780-218-9999. The Oilers off to the Western Conference Final, second time in 3 years, a 3-2 victory over the Vancouver Canucks. Stuart Skinner didn't see a lot of rubber, especially in the first two periods, and then the Canucks poured it on in the third. Cass, what did you make of Skinner's game overall, making 15 saves on the night?
Saved enough to win. I don't think you can overly fault him on either of those two. I mean, I'm sure there'll be some people who will rip him apart on the first goal, but he was solid again. I mean, made the saves he needed to make. Was steady, pretty calm, pretty confident, which is exactly what you needed. And the team played well in front of him. I mean, he didn't get overly tested. And sometimes those games, and Joaquin Gage has talked about this at length for goalies, and Scrivby probably has as well, Ben Scrivens, in that, like, it can be tough when you're not facing shots. It can be difficult. It can be hard to stay in a rhythm. And I thought for as little work as he had for periods of this game or chunks of this game, I thought he did a good job of just staying under control, staying calm, and making the saves he needed to make.
All right, let's get it to the text line. Let's go to Randy. Oilers are the best team in the world. Have the best player in the world in McDavid. They will never lose again. I've said, bet the mortgage at plus 2,000 back in November. They will never lose again. No one ever doubted them. Randy. I almost believe Randy, but I feel like he's saying it tongue-in-cheek to stir it up. Hello, Randy. Thanks for the text. Another one says, it's from Kent in Red Deer. They did it, Tommy. Time to take down the Stars next. This team can do it. So some belief starting to be built up here. Cody Ceci is the new Mr. Game 7. That's from Hodaddy, if you'll recall, when the Oilers were last in this situation. Cody Ceci scored. That was, what, a 2-0 game against L.A.? Quick was great in that game, Cass. Remember that one? We covered it.
Yep.
Hampton Steve says, LFG, very impressed by the composure for most of the game tonight. Only guys who showed jitters were McLeod and Desharnais. Going to be a huge challenge against the Stars, but time to extract revenge for all those series in the late 90s and early 2000s. Edmonton, by the way, 1-5 in those series. They won the one in 97, lost in 98, 99, 2000, 2001, and 2003. Seaweed Man says, Hughes, more like lose. Canucks got the Game 7 blues. That's from Seaweed Man. Sean Z says, hey, Tommy, a couple points. Brown was solid on one side of the puck, but as always, his offensive game let him down. Mick Perimeter, 71, garbage in the playoffs, says Sean Z. Sit him for Gagne or Perry. McDavid is clearly sick, but was solid. Bush is a tale of two D-men. Soft on the D side, a murderer on the offensive side. Love Holloway and Ryan now. Bring on Dallas. Great stuff, boys. From Sean Z. How do you feel about that statement from Sean Z on Bouchard? Solid offensively or fire offensively, and then defensively soft is what Sean Z's saying.
I think there are times when that is correct.
Yeah, I agree with that.
There are times when that's correct. I would say for the most part in the playoffs, that wasn't the case.
Yeah,
I thought he played very well defensively in the playoffs, outside of horrible turnover. The one horrible turnover, like that was a glaring oopsie. And generally with Bouchard, he doesn't make big or little oopsies. It's all big ones. Mm-hmm. It's like when something happens, it really happens.
Yeah.
And sometimes with players that think offensively minded, that's the way it goes. Now Ekholm settles him down a lot. I think really helps him play inside of himself defensively, and then allow him to play how he needs to offensively. But I wouldn't necessarily agree. I don't think he's like a tire fire in the defensive zone. I don't think sometimes it's easy to look at Evan Bouchard and stylistically how he plays to be like, oh, he plays soft because he plays patient, right? Because he slows things down. He's not in a rush to have things happen. Like he's very, very calm. And sometimes people read that as being either soft or doesn't
passive,
try hard or passive or lazy, which isn't the case at all. It's just, no, he's stylistically, he tries to play a really controlled game, and it can come back to bite him. Yes. Defensively, sometimes it does, but no, I think for the most part, I mean, he's been very, very good this playoff series, and defensively too, aside from the one whoopsie.
We can't say that about his start to the season. He was a tire fire, and kudos to him for cleaning it up in a huge way. Brad from Crossfield chiming in says, hey, boys, I felt like the fourth line really drove some energy tonight, especially on the second goal. Just worked hard. Was so good to see a total team effort. Dallas will be a huge test. Go Oilers. Brad from Crossfield. The fourth line cast, that was Janmark, that was Brown, and that was Sam Carrick. What are you seeing from that trio right now?
You know what? They're just grinding. Really, Tom. It hasn't been anything fancy.
No.
They're just working hard, trying to hold on to pucks down low. They're not just throwing pucks in front of the net or to the net necessarily. They're taking what's given on that, but they're winning puck battles, winning 50-50 battles in the offensive zone to maintain possession. And that goal is an example of doing that, where it's like, yeah, they had some good movement. And yes, there were no clear lanes to the net. There were no opportunities to generate a grade A while they're out there. But guess what? They hem the Vancouver Canucks in. You get some fresh legs on the ice and you get a goal because of it, which is that's what you want. That's what you want from your fourth line. That's what you want from your depth players. You want them to chip in. Yes, you do. But at the least, if they can have good offensive zone possession, if they can wear other teams down, it bodes very, very well for you and for the team.
Janmark, 14-12, time on ice, 1 hit, -1. Connor Brown, no points, 2 penalty minutes, 1 shot, 2 hits, 13-37. And Sam Carrick, no points, even, no shots, 3 hits. I think he got Zadorov with a couple of them. And 10-06, time on ice, 50% on the dot. Connor Brown also won a face-off tonight, Cass, for those wondering, because as we know, the linesmen like to throw out the face-off men on the regular because that's what they do. All right. Yeah. Portions of this hour brought to you by Edmonton's Best Rock, 100.3 The Bear. Check out Dusty Nielsen every morning during the week with Uke and McCord, and then tune into Jess Jackson on your way home from work. I will be joining Jess tomorrow to recap what was a very exciting Oilers-Canucks second-round series. Edmonton improving to 3-0 all-time versus Vancouver in the postseason. This was the first time these two teams locked horns in the playoffs since, 1992? Edmonton won that series in 6, and they played each other in 86 as well. Edmonton won that in 3. It was a best-of-5 in the first round back in the Smythe Division days. So if you're wondering, Cass, with the Oilers and the Stars in the playoffs, Edmonton and Dallas has hooked up 6 times. Edmonton with a 1-5 record in those 6 instances. The only win coming in 97. Kelly Buchberger, huge goal at the turnaround on the Capilano, I think is what Ronnie Lowe calls it. The huge save in Game 7 by Curtis Joseph. And then at the other end of the rink, Doug Waite finds a streaking Todd Marchant. He gets by Craig Ludwig. And I think, was it Richard Mathvichuk? And then he pots one home, posting in blocker side on Andy Moog. After that, the closest the Oilers would ever get is they took a 2-1 series lead in 2003. Ended up losing that series in 6. That was the last time the Oilers faced the Dallas Stars in the postseason. Game 1 goes Thursday night in Dallas, 6:30 p.m. our time. All right. Let's get to, you want to get to some interviews, Cass? You want to get some reaction from these guys and get a feel for what they think?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right.
Let's spin it into those right now.
All right, YouTube, Trev, you need a minute or you got it?
Yeah, here, let me just get this together. We've got Connor McDavid and Nugent Hopkins, but I wouldn't mind hearing from Connor McDavid first, if that's okay with you, gentlemen.
Works for me.
Sounds good. Let's do it. Here's the captain.
You got a little tense at the end there, just a thought on coming in here and doing what you guys did.
I thought we played 52 great minutes, really, really good. And then, you know what, little mistake, that's going to happen. And obviously it gets a little chaotic from there. You can expect that. I knew it was going to be a tight game. I don't think anyone came in here thinking it was going to be some type of cakewalk. It was tight. I thought we did a good job of responding. I thought it was a great time up by Chris to settle everyone down. And from there on out, I thought played a real solid game, or rest of the period.
It seemed like you guys, even though things did get a little hairy, kept a lot of their chances to the outside. Not many shots, I think just 5. Can you describe the way you guys played defensively in that third period to keep them at bay?
Yeah, I thought we played really well. Obviously the kill steps up with another huge one. They've been great all playoffs long. And, starts with the kill there in the middle of the period. And, we did a good job of just kind of rolling lines and, killing the clock and keeping them to the outside. And it's going to get interesting eventually. It just is. They're playing for their life. They're pushing hard. They're sending everyone every time, and I thought we did a great job of, bending but not breaking.
Evan Bouchard out there to help save the series in the last minute, and then the offense that he had this series. What can you say about this series he had?
Yeah, unbelievable series. Unbelievable player, just getting better and better as he goes. He's so smart, one of the smartest hockey players I've ever played with. Just constantly learning on the go, and you're starting to see him really come into his own. Everyone knew offensively what he could do. Defensively, he defends using his brain, and he's just getting real good at that.
Let's go back to the Western Conference Final mean to this group. This has been the goal all year long. It's been a roller coaster ride, but now you're back in the final.
Well, yeah, it's exciting. I mean, it's exciting to beat a great Vancouver team. That's first and foremost. They're a really great team. They obviously had our number all year long. It wasn't too long ago, a couple months ago, we were sitting here doing an interview, talking about losing 8-1. So they've had our number, and it feels good to come out on top in this series. It was a tight series, passionate series. Both fan bases going crazy. It's fun to come out on top of that.
Connor, how about Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, hometown kid, gets the game-winning goal, 10 points in the series. Just what he meant to you guys and your guys' success in this round? Yeah,
he was great. But he always is, honestly. Whether he's putting up numbers or not, he's always touching a lot of areas of our game. It's great to see him get rewarded on a big goal and that. But whether he's on the kill, power play, 5-on-5, he's always making great decisions out there, and just a great player and big part of our team.
What could you say about I know you'll take a few days here, but your initial thought on the Dallas Stars, the way that they're playing right now, and what you saw from them this year?
Oh, they're a great team too. It's the conference finals. You're gonna play a great team, and they certainly are. They're deep. They're as deep a team as you're gonna find in the NHL. 4 lines, 16 men. They got a great goaltender. It'll be a great test, but we're looking forward to it.
That deepness, the fact that you guys played probably your best 2 team games of the series at the end, that kind of bode well going into a series like that.
Yeah, we're a deep team too. I know our top guys get a lot of attention, but we're a real deep team. I thought we used all 12 forwards tonight, trying to in the third period there, and all game long. Both games 6 and 7. I thought we used all 12 forwards and all 16 men, and we used both goalies this series. So we're a deep team, just like Dallas is.
Can you describe the fans at home are watching this game? They're sweating it out. What's it like a game like this? It was pretty intense from the outside. It's like on the inside.
Yeah, it's intense. But ultimately, it's our job to control those emotions, control your play, and I thought we did a great job of that. I thought we didn't let the moment get too big, and everybody did what they had to do and come into a tough environment and get it done. Can't give the guys enough credit.
Chris doesn't use timeouts very often. What did that one do for you guys?
I thought it was a great timeout. Even Darnell in the last TV timeout, bringing the guys together, showing great leadership, and that's what he is. He's a great leader. He's big in this room, and he showed great leadership there, bringing everybody in, and I thought it was a good timeout by Chris too. The building's going crazy. It's loud. Everybody understands, what's at stake, and just settled everyone down, and we were able to close it out.
All right, there's the captain, Connor McDavid, as the Oilers advance to the Western Conference Final. Cass, he mentioned how the Canucks had their number, and it seemed like with the way this series started, maybe it would be destiny for Vancouver to walk all over the Oilers, and it didn't happen. They bucked the trend of win one, lose one, or lose one, win one, lose one, win one. And a couple of things that stood out to me. Did Chris Knoblauch totally redeem himself with that timeout for prior mistakes made early in the series? Matthias Janmark, top line, game 1, not taking a timeout earlier in the series. Maybe he made a good move and going back to Stu Skinner after the ballsy move of going to Calvin Pickard. Did we watch the progression of a coach in this series, Cass, too?
Well, he made some calls that took some cojones. The decision to put Pickard in and then the decision to go back to Skinner, which I still think was the right decision.
I agree with you.
All the times. I think he handled that actually very well. We had talked earlier in the series about not calling a timeout in that game one.
Yeah.
Probably should have called a timeout in that game. Was a mistake not to. I mean, they won the series, so I guess he totally redeemed himself. If they would have lost, we would have been looking back. If he didn't and they lost, we might look back at it and have a different opinion, I'm sure. Easy to look back now and to say, yeah, he kind of redeemed himself with that, because it was a good time to do it, a great time to do it. And doing it after the first goal would have been almost like panicking.
Yes.
But the second was just like, no, let's just take a deep breath. Let's get a break. Let's stop the momentum. Let's just cool the jets for a split second. So, yeah, I think maybe we could say he totally redeemed himself.
Hey, everybody's learning. Everybody's thankful for the lessons that were put before them, and he's better for it, stealing Stuart Skinner's words. Let's go to library. Pat texting and says, shout out Samuel Bartholomew Carrick, Tommy. I love it. That is his middle name now. At least we think it is. Cody Cece says, Herb's Hose. I'll eat my words. He had a great game. I owe him a shout out. What a defensive effort by the boys. Look out, Dallas. The Oilers coming in hot. AD says, bench McLeod. He doesn't produce offense, and that turnover was inexcusable. Gave Canucks life for no reason. He can sit game one and put Perry in or Henrique. Henrique, we don't know if he's good to go. AD, they get a couple of days here to rest up. I think they are headed straight to Dallas. Once I know for sure, I'll pass that along your way. Let's go to Dirty Curdy texting in. Says, textbook 53 minutes, then WTF. Had 2017 flashbacks, but they battled and shot blocked and did what it takes to win. Fourth line and PK was outstanding, except for the horrid breakaway by Brown. Holloway gaining confidence every shift. Connor clearly has a core issue, can't shoot and handle the puck like he's used to. Dallas, a Herculean mountain to climb, but we did it before with Greg DeVries and Scott McGillis. Greg DeVries and Dan McGillis playing D, so it's possible. For one night, let's enjoy vanquishing the most toxic fan base in the league, Dirty Curdy. And then Dirty Curdy adds, also been hard on Nuge all year. He really stepped up, and this was a statement game. Cody CC, Game 7. He is the hero, according to Dirty Curdy. I don't know about the core issue. I've been told that it might be strep throat for the Oilers, and listening to Connor McDavid, and he was doing the interview with Murph post-game too, and Murph's like, go get a lozenge. If it is strep throat, I've had it, Cass. I don't know if
sucks.
It's awful, especially if you get it bad.
Man.
I was knocked out for 10 days one year. I had no idea how vicious it can be.
So I got it twice this last year. And I had it once before Christmas. One of my daughters got it, and then I got it. And then, as you may recall, I got super, super sick right after Christmas.
Yes,
again,
you did.
And was out for like 3 weeks.
Yes.
So my immune system was just completely shot, like, because that just absolutely crushed me. And so I had finally just recovered, and then my other daughter got strep throat, and I got it again. Probably just because my body was so
beat up already
at that point. So yeah, it was been the old twofer and not that long, which it sucks.
Yeah. Listening to the way Connor talked or spoke there, you don't want to like stress your throat that much. If you're thinking, it's just a sore throat. No, like I had like hallucinations during my dreams. I needed the antibiotics, and it still took like 6 days for me to start feeling normal. I was night sweats. You can't eat anything. It's just uncomfortable to breathe. Like if it gets you good,
it sucks.
You are screwed. It is an awful illness to have, depending on how bad you get it. Cass, I can't imagine you had a great time with it twice in a row like that.
Nope.
But I think that's more of an issue than a core issue for Connor McDavid right now. If I'm to play doctor, which I'm clearly not, but Cass is, thankfully, and Struddy. So we'll just go with that.
There was a Twitter back when I was in Ottawa called Dr. Cassassination. Someone made it mocking my normal one. That was like all medical advice. It was pretty funny. That was a long time ago.
Well, you are the one who enlightened us with athletic pubalgia, which it looked like flared up on one Evander Bartholomew Kane.
He was feeling a little bit.
Yeah. Okay, let's go back inside the Oilers locker room. I'll let you two, Trev, pick our next interview.
Yeah, you got a goal and assist tonight. Let's go to the hometown native. This is Ryan Nugent-Hopkins.
Game 7, of course, a wonderful effort through 40, and then having to stave off a little bit of a Canucks push there. Take us through the emotions and how you guys got it done.
I mean, yeah, like you said, good 40. I thought even good 50. Then, I mean, something happens that goes the other way, and I mean, they're a good team that if you give them any life, they're going to push. And I mean, so I thought we did a great job of just sticking with it, staying composed, not imploding, and having each other's backs.
Special teams tonight, you killed that 4 minute, the power play finds one. I mean, just give me a thought on how good the kill has been here for a few games and timely the power play ends up.
Yeah, it's something that we take so much pride in all season, and this is why, because we know that it can make the difference in games like this. So power play's got to show up and score some timely goals, and PK's got to stop them. So like I said, we take a ton of pride in it. We got so many great killers, guys that can do the job on the power play. So it can be the difference maker, and we're proud that it was tonight.
This is the game you guys wanted to play, though. You guys were dominant through, like you said, 50 minutes. You just couldn't score more than 12. I guess is that you got to be happy with coming in here and playing that game.
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely happy with the way that we played. I mean, they're a good team. They don't make it easy. We played really well last game, and we wanted to. It's nice to see that we can play that way for a whole 60, and we took that into tonight and did a great job. Stu made some big saves there. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's never going to be easy in a Game 7 against a good hockey team, and we found a way.
Ryan, things got a little hairy in the third period, but I think they only had 5 shots on net. So can you describe maybe the way you guys kept them to the outside and the shot, your shot blocking and things of that nature that prevented more chances? Yeah,
some big blocks. They got a lot of skill, and the best way to deter that is keep them to the outside. So we know they like that little slip play into the middle, and they hit us a few times too. Had to make some good saves, but it's something that we talked about, corrected a little bit into the third, and didn't give up as many. But yeah, I mean, if you play a team that's pushing back in a Game 7, you got to keep them as much to the outside and let your goaltender take care of the rest.
Say about Evan Bouchard's play in this series.
I mean, yeah, he raised it to another level. He's a pretty even keel guy, even on the ice, but it's nice to see his intensity. Not just the way that he shoots the puck. We all know that he can hammer it and pick corners, but I think his intensity around our net, some of the battles he got into, it's a great sign, and he's maturing and really figuring out he's a bit of an animal.
Your goal stands up as a game winner in your hometown, Game 7. Has that sunk in yet?
Not really, to be honest. Still reeling a little bit from the end there, but it takes every single guy in here. Definitely proud to get the job done with this group.
This series has gone back and forth. How important was it to start strong and you guys dominated that first period? How important was that?
Huge. I mean, we showed it at times throughout the series, and then we kind of let them off the hook, and I mean, saying that they're a good team, they push back if you give them any room. So I think we did a way better job of not sitting back, not letting them get life, and continue that pressure.
The last 2 games seem to be a pretty good team effort all the way around. Mm-hmm. How does that bode when you're going to play Dallas? It seems to be a pretty complete team as well.
Yeah, I mean, we play them 3 times throughout the year. We know that they're a deep team, obviously. That's in a few days. We'll process this and move on to them. But against anybody at this point, you need everybody going. And I think all series we had 4 lines rolling, 60 going, 2 goalies when we needed to. And so, I mean, it shows a lot that everybody can get the job done.
All right, that was Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. You have to like his stat line tonight: a goal, an assist, 2 points, 3 shots, 1 hit, 21:09 time on ice, 50% on the dot when he was called upon to take faceoffs. Cass, you heard a lot about him talking about the team as a whole, stepping up, picking up on Vancouver tendencies. And the other thing, too, for those that are Nugent-Hopkins naysayers, I think tonight they're pretty thankful that the team signed him at a reduced rate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As our friend Simple 101 in the nasty chat said, Nuge is waking up. Not that he was actually asleep.
No.
But he improved, probably his best game of the series. I mean, we love to see him score. Love to see him around the net. And Tommy, I think you got Nuge at a fairly reasonable price.
Yes.
For what he brings. So
yes,
I'm happy with the Nuge today, as you should be too.
Hard not to like the guy, and certainly the player touches all aspects of the game: penalty kill, power play, 5-on-5, face-offs. Even though they're not great, but he's been a very good Oiler for a long time, and showed up and had a huge moment tonight. Actually, Cass, that was his third goal of the series.
Mm-hmm.
He had a good series, I would say.
He did. Yeah.
There you go. Calgary Glenn texting us says, what a series. Both teams had their moments. If I'm being honest, I thought the Oilers were going to take the series a lot easier. Kudos to the Canucks and especially Shelovs for a gutsy performance. Sorry for the hacked picture. I'm out of town. 8-6 Cuppers down. I love it. Well done, Calgary Glenn. Seventh best Gord says, couldn't watch, so listen on radio. Jack was electric last 3 minutes. Go Oil. That should remind me. Text us 780-218-9999. If you're listening on our radio side, whether it's via iHeartRadio, TuneIn, or our EdmontonSportsTalk.com audio player. And then if you're watching on our EST YouTube channel, you can get into the nasty chat. Every time I peek in there, it is just buzzing along really nicely. And the other thing, too, is we've got a good audience tonight. So ELE out there. ELE. I know the trolls are jumping in. But Cass, I know you're having some fun in there.
Yeah. We put some people in jail.
Good.
YouTube Trev had to throw a couple people in jail, which is good. Yeah. Some people maybe time out. You might get out in a little bit, but for some of you, jail.
He's laughing right now. Go ahead. Trev.
Not gonna lie, I do find it satisfying. Like we've been saying it for quite a while now. Like don't be. It's not rocket appliances. Like, what are we doing here? If you're going to be an idiot, that you're going to get timed out and put into jail. So just don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Yeah. And it's like, I'll give you warnings. Like, I will tell you, you are walking the line, you will get put in jail. We will put you straight in jail. And it was like, then put me in jail. So it's like, all right.
You literally asked for it.
Yeah.
780-218-9999. The Oilers win Game 7. 3-2, and off they go to the Western Conference Final facing the Dallas Stars for the 7th time. I'm not counting the Minnesota years. I'm counting the Dallas years because they've certainly created a bit of a history with Dallas in the last few decades. Mm-hmm. So Edmonton 1-5 versus Dallas in the postseason, looking for their first series win versus the Stars since 1997. Man, that was a long time ago.
Remember those ones?
Oh, yeah, those were great. Those were epic, and I feel like Cass, we're in for another treat of a series. It's going to be a lot of fun. A lot of people out there saying the Stars are the team to beat. Oilers are going to be the underdog. Whatever.
It could be. Yeah,
that's
they
fine.
Could be. It's that's fine. It's going to be a tough series.
Yeah.
Dallas, and I said this heading into the playoffs. Dallas to me is like, if there's one team in the West that really scares me, it was Dallas, and still is Dallas.
Yeah.
They are incredibly deep. If Ottinger plays well from a goaltending standpoint, there's no weak spots on that team. Like, they have everything. They are incredibly deep, very, very good, will be very difficult to beat.
Cass, I'm just going to suggest one thing because we're going to dip into the Dallas talk after one more interview, but I want to get to more text and I want to throw this at you as well. The Dallas Stars, when they have a lack of success and maybe their downfall, I feel is similar in a way to Edmonton's, is they're their own worst enemies.
Yep.
For small portions of time, whether it's a couple games at a time or whatever, but they can get the brain farts and go quiet, and it's their own doing, it seems like, much like Edmonton. Is that a stretch, or do you think that's accurate?
No, I think that's accurate. I think the Dallas Stars beat the Dallas Stars sometimes.
Right.
Now you've had criticism of them too. Goaltending, people have said, and you maybe have said this too. Dusty, I know, has absolutely said this, and same with Joaquin Gage, where they're like, well, but Ottinger doesn't play well in the playoffs. And we've heard this about Edmonton's goaltending as well. And that's where people have sometimes jumped on them a little bit with. But yeah, Tom, it really is. They kind of get in their own way at times because now with that being said, they haven't really done that often since they made a big splash at the trade deadline and acquired Tanev, which was still just a fantastic ad for them. I mean, you have Heiskanen or Tanev on the ice pretty much the entire game on that right side. Like that's
pretty damn good.
Pretty darn good. And Sutter, who is older, not what he once was, but is still solid even on that third pair. Like you have everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, if they make big mistakes and they just hand things to teams, they're going to get beat, kind of like what we've seen Edmonton do at times, kind of like we almost saw them do tonight.
Correct.
Almost, but they didn't. They managed to hold on, which is a great thing because it means now we get to watch them play the Dallas Stars in the next round.
Starting Thursday, 6:30 p.m. Mountain Time. Puck Drop will be on the air at 5 for the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show. Big Slime Nasty texting in saying they were praying for our downfall, quote unquote. Hell of a win tonight. Didn't get the full 60, but the first 40 were beautiful. Let's enjoy the 48 hours rest as fans and get stocked up for Thursday. Oilers in 7. Have a great night, Oil Country, from Big Slam Nasty. Cass, you just heard him talking about the goaltenders and maybe Ottinger doesn't show up in the playoffs, and that's what some people like to say. Skinner doesn't show up in the playoffs, and people were definitely saying that around here. Well, he made some good saves tonight. Not a lot of them, but some good ones. Let's go to the Oilers netminder, Stu Skinner.
Last few minutes from your standpoint, that's pretty crazy stuff. The building and the moment.
Yeah, fans definitely got up there, and they had some momentum on their side for sure. And I think that the way that we played in the last 2.5 minutes, it was just amazing. We knew that we had to come out strong and, obviously finish out the 2.5 minutes. And I don't think I got a shot. I think the guys just kept on blocking shots, kept on getting the pucks out. And it was very impressive how the team played tonight.
Stuart, for you personally, what did it mean for you to get victories in Game 6 and 7?
Yeah, it was huge. It's big just as a perseverance-wise. I know there's proof now that I have it in me to bounce back like that. I've proved it many times, but in a playoff situation like this, it definitely feels good. I definitely say it's something that I'm proud of.
The team seemed to rally around you as well. Like they wanted you in there. They wanted to, play well in front of you. I guess did you get that sense? Like guys were eating pucks. A lot of guys were.
Absolutely. Guys were eating pucks. Guys did everything that we possibly could have to win this game. I think that shows you how hard of a team to play Vancouver was. I also think it shows you how hard it is just to get to the third round. And it only gets harder from here. So we've gotten some great experience being able to beat these guys in Game 7 and the way that we did it. So being able to learn from those mistakes that we made and really carry on the things that we did well into the third round is going to be really big for us.
Nobody won 2 games in a row in this series until you guys did at the end.
Yeah.
What do you think? Was it a momentum thing? Did you figure something out? Did you get something over on them that they couldn't handle anymore? What happened, you think?
I think we just came out and we played hard. I think we just kept it simple. I think we stuck to our game plan, and I think we were just able to do it for the full 60 minutes. There's not really anything specifically that we did. I think it's just how the guys played. I think all the guys just really showed up. We had all hands on the wheels tonight.
Well, early thought on the conference final?
Sorry?
Early thought on the conference final against them?
Not much. Dallas is going to be a hard team. You obviously know that. They've been an incredible team for years now. Obviously, Otter's one of the best goalies in the world. They got just a top-class team. So it's going to be a battle for sure, and we're going to do our pre-scout. I'm sure they've been doing theirs right when this game ended, and gotta go over to Dallas and see what happens.
Stu, I believe it was just 5 shots on you in the third period. Did it feel like that? Feel like more?
It definitely felt like more. I think even the whole game, I felt like I got more rubber, but I think it's the way that they've played as well. They roam around our zone and just. We do a great job keeping the pucks from the outside, so that's first of all. I think second, they were able to make plays, but just weren't able to get shots on net. So I was working really hard, believe it or not, but I just didn't get a ton of shots, which is a credit to the guys in front.
All right, there's Stu Skinner and making 15 saves on the night, but he said he felt like it was more than that, Cass. The Canucks had 20 missed shots and 25 attempts blocked. So
yeah,
his instinct was right. Like they were buzzing around quite a bit, but he held the fort, made a few good saves. Defensively, Edmonton was solid. He sounded pretty calm there.
I wasn't worried, Tommy.
I know you weren't.
I wasn't worried.
I know you
there's
weren't.
so many people that were and there's still people that are still worried. I wasn't worried. Now, I mean, looking at Dallas is like, yeah, it's going to be tough, but I'm not. I'm not freaking out about Stuart Skinner. I'm just not. But I'm a homer, so.
Has someone called you that in the nasty chat?
No,
I see you mixing it up in there.
Just Skinner homer. Yeah.
I
love mixing it up. It's my favorite thing to do.
You're good at it. You're very good at it.
Fun. Yeah.
Okay.
Next to putting people in jail, that's maybe also my favorite thing.
Do you have the wrench now?
No, I don't have the wrench to put people in jail. I don't need it. It's fine.
We can get you the wrench.
I just text Trev or whoever's running out of the day.
Okay, 780-218-9999. Text us. Nasty chat. Awesome stuff. Really enjoying peeking over there, and I'm laughing at Cass's responses to some people. Your explanation for LFG was pretty good, Cass. What is large
farm gophers?
Large farm gophers. Yeah, didn't you know that's what it meant? Okay, so the Oilers have a night to enjoy this. I believe you say take a couple hours and then put it behind you. I feel like they're going to do that, and then they shift their focus. They'll start to pick up where their scouts left them notes on the Dallas Stars. The coaching staff will pour over the game tape from Dallas's last two series, and they'll start to assess and make a game plan from there. Cass, how do you look at these next couple of days? How do the Oilers go about handling the next couple of days, and what do you anticipate in this Dallas-Edmonton Western Conference Final?
Yeah, it's gonna be tough. I got to chew on who I think is gonna win. I don't think made a decision yet. Wanted to make sure that Edmonton made it through first. But it's gonna be a battle. I mean, it's a quick turnaround. If guys are tired, Dallas has been sitting there, not like for forever, but they've had an opportunity to rest. Rupe Heinz, who is out of the lineup, might be back. We're not sure yet. We will see heading into this. But they've been sitting there. Edmonton, it's just. The thing about going to Game 7, it's like it's a quick turnaround. Like you are right back into it with not a lot of time. So yes, they'll pull over the scouting notes. Yes, they'll watch video. But it's going to be, just like Knobloch talked about, and we talked about on the pregame show. It's already been given to the players. Now they'll pull some game plan.
Yeah,
they'll talk some strategy. They'll go through all of that, but ultimately it's still going to be on the players to be prepared, to be ready, and to go out and to execute.
Let me just ask you this, Cass. Edmonton does make it to the conference final. I know there are some out there that probably still believe cup or bust. There's probably more doubters now, just seeing the way these playoffs have kind of gone and the route that both teams, Dallas and Edmonton, have taken to get here, and maybe people aren't as convinced about the Oilers as they are about the Stars. I get that. Is this season a success now that Edmonton has just qualified for the conference final? Can it be? Will people be satisfied enough? Have they quieted enough of that? Because I know that that's probably going to be a conversation we're going to have when the season ends, however it ends for the Oilers. But is getting to the conference final considered a success?
I don't know if I'd put it like a success, but I don't know if I'd put it like a disappointment either. Because I don't think you can quite say that it's a disappointment, but does it really feel like a success if they don't make it to the Stanley Cup final?
They hit their target? Like they achieved their goal? I don't know.
Well, but
the
their
goal
target's
is the Stanley Cup. But
the target and the goal is the Stanley Cup.
Always, yeah.
That's a tough question.
And it might be unfair too because of the timing, but Edmonton has qualified for the Western Conference Final. And a lot of people were saying if this team doesn't get past the second round, that's a failure of a season.
Yeah.
So I'm just curious.
Well, I think it would have been a disappointment. If they would have lost tonight to Vancouver, I think it would be fair to say this was a disappointment. Now you're up against a really good Dallas team. Maybe it's going to depend on how the series goes. Like and how tight the series is, what type of series it ends up being. If it's tight and it's long and you end up losing and it's really close, then maybe people lean a little bit more towards like, as a success. They were close. But who are we kidding? This is Edmonton. People are going to view it as a disappointment. It's cup or bust.
Well said. Cass, you did great tonight. I'm glad that our season gets to continue, and I look forward to the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show on our fine station at 5 p.m. on Thursday, my friend. Game 1, Western Conference Final.
We are there. We are there. And for my buddy Rob, please don't fall down and go boom tonight. Just don't do it. Just texting me, Rob. Don't do it.
Don't do it, Rob. Cass,
Don't do it.
fantastic
Yeah.
work as always, my friend. Be
Thanks,
well.
buddy. Thanks, you too.
There he is, Matt Cassian, our game analyst, breaking down the Oilers' 3-2 win over the Vancouver Canucks in Game 7 of the second round of the Stanley Cup playoffs. They are off. The Oilers are to Dallas to take on the Stars in the Western Conference Final. They did it. Some people I saw in the nasty chat said they just reached the minimum goal by getting to the Western Conference Final. Tom, that was the minimum goal, so they've achieved that. Where do they go from here? Do you have faith? Have you lost faith? Did you give up on them before this series was even done? 3-2. A lot of people jumping off the bandwagon. A lot of sore ankles out there, Trev. Lots of sore ankles.
Certainly was.
I remember. What day was that? Thursday night?
Yep.
Sore ankles all over oil country. They can't do this. They can't do that. It's over. Vancouver's better. This team sucks. They go out there and they win a huge Game 6. Gutsy effort in Game 7. Hang on. There they go. Western Conference Final.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy. I'm absolutely loving it. I'm so here for it. It was a great game. It was a great series. Yeah, I mean, it's just I got a few buddies who are already texting me. A lot of them Canucks fans, actually, and just they're very sad, obviously. But I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Like in a sense, like I'm sorry, but they were the fans. There was a lot of trolls, Tommy. Like I'm not gonna lie. Like the Oilers putting like a lot of the talk to like after Game 5 and just them calling the series. Like you have no idea. You have no idea. You're betting against Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, two of the best players in the world. So it's not over till it's over. I think that's why I'm just like really happy. I'm like, you know, you can't call it. You can't call nothing. So I'm here for it. But yeah, this is just awesome. I'm in a great mood.
Dustin via the nasty chat reminds me, who gave up in November? Well, on November 9th, following a 3-2 loss at the hands of the San Jose Sharks at SAP Center in San Jose, California, I declared the season over because Edmonton tied San Jose as the worst team in the NHL 5 weeks into the season with an absolutely piss-poor performance. They got their coach fired. They got their assistant coach fired. And then they totally came back from the dead, a la The Undertaker. And I don't know if you saw, I think it was on The Drop on Oilers TV. Even their captain, the best player in the world, said, this is for, when we came back from the dead. Even they knew they resuscitated their season. But Dustin, it's a good reminder because on November 9th, 2023, I said that this team and its season was done. I'm okay with being wrong about that. I've said that all along. Good. The fans deserve better. Way better than what they got in the first 5 weeks of the season. And this team has come through for the fan base and for themselves in a big way. I'm happy to be wrong about that. But it was so desolate at that point, I just popped off.
I was thinking that when...
No qualms. I would do it again.
Sorry for cutting you off there, Tommy. But
that's okay.
I was sitting back and just like really just looking back at this whole season. And it's like, it's crazy where the Oilers started and where they are now. Like they're a Final Four team, Tommy.
Yes,
and
they are.
They went from like the similarities. Obviously, I don't want to get too ahead of myself or anything like that, but the similarities between this Oilers season right now and the St. Louis Blues season a few years back, it's weird. Last place, coach fired, and then they end up just crushing it. The St. Louis Blues obviously went on to win the Stanley Cup. Not saying that's going to happen, but it's weird. It really is. So the team's just they're looking great. I love the effort tonight. It was awesome. And credit to you. The Canucks are going to bring it, obviously. So I'm not too worried about the third period. That's just any team on the brink of elimination is going to do the exact same thing. I feel like so. Just a tremendous series as a whole, and I can't wait to watch the Stars. That's a team I really enjoy watching. Probably my second favorite team to watch, if I'm being honest. And this is going to be a very interesting series.
Yeah, it will be.
Thoroughly interested, yeah.
Buckle up, just like we had to buckle up for this Edmonton-Vancouver series. First time since 92. These teams locked horns in the postseason, and it lived up to the hype. It really did. Heart attacks, pain, sorrow, jubilation, everything in between. It had it. This is the beauty of the postseason. And when the team you cheer for wins, you reap the rewards. And Oil Country's certainly doing that tonight. Vancouver, a great season. Phenomenal job by Rick Tocchet and his staff, the players to get the buy-in, to perform, compete, put together the year that they did, winning the Pacific Division in the regular season. Unfortunately, injuries got in their way. Besser with the blood clot, awful, unlucky. He was having a great postseason. Demko could have made a big difference. Shilovs did everything he could, but that's tough to do as a 23-year-old who played 9 games going into the series. 9. Hats off to the Vancouver Canucks.
Yeah, I think that's for sure. Like, no one had the Canucks pegged to being this good this season, Tommy. The future is certainly bright. There's some question marks, obviously, with Elias Pettersson. If you're a Canucks fan, that's going to be a topic of conversation going in through the summer because, talking about players that didn't show up, man, like he had no confidence in the playoffs at all. It kind of reminded me of just watching Jonathan Huberdeau the last 2 seasons. As soon as he gets the puck, it's off. He wasn't skating with it, Tommy. And like when the best players in the world have it, like they're skating. They want the puck as much as possible. The second it was on his stick, man, he was giving it away. But yeah, no, it's a tremendous season for the Canucks. Huge props to them. Rick Tocchet's an absolute beauty. The future's certainly bright. It's a win season. Like you can't be mad. Obviously, I mean, you can. You can be disappointed.
You could be mad.
You can be mad. Okay,
but there's a lot of good that
there's more good
had
than
this
bad
season.
for sure.
All right, 780-218-9999. Lots of text pouring in. I'm going to read off a bunch. Do we have any more interviews to get to or no?
I don't have any right now.
Don't have everything? Okay, we have to get to Save the Game as well as Player of the Game as the Oilers win it 3-2 over the Canucks, taking Game 7. And I will remind folks that this is the Oil Stream Postgame show brought to you by GCL Diesel, specializing in giving your diesel engines heart a second wind. We test and remanufacture fuel injectors, pumps, and turbos for a wide range of applications, breathing new life into vital components.
There is Chris Knobloch and Evan Bouchard and Leon Draisaitl together. Would you like either or any of those?
Chris Knobloch, Evan Bouchard. Coach and player together?
No, sorry. Evan and Leon are together and then coach separate.
How about coach?
Okay,
let's grab coach. Okay. I'm going to rattle off some texts, so we're going to get to the big save of the game. Then we'll go to Chris Knobloch. Nasty chat, keep being nasty. Corey B texting in says, Matty Owanek was right. One of the 2 teams won the series. Yes. Ben says, I thought the series was over when Zadorov scored from the sidewall. Ben, a lot of people were with you on that one. This one says, boys, I think it honestly depends how the third round goes. If they get their show ran by Dallas, then this season is a failure. If the Oilers lose in 7 and are competitive, then likely a success. Fine line. That's a fine line. Grumpy Cat says, I'm looking forward to the Oilers playing against the number 1 goalie instead of our kryptonite second and third stringers. It's funny how some of those reoccurring themes pop up, and we'll see how the Oilers handled Jake Ottinger. This one says, thanks for doing all the shows today, boys. You didn't have to since it was a holiday, but we're glad you did. We knew we were going to do it, holiday or not. Teams going into Game 7. The whole city's abuzz. You got to show up. You got to do the shows. You got to feed the beast, as they like to say, and we were more than happy to. It's been a lot of fun. That's why we do this job. Pat in the county says, hey, boys, this one is for Lieutenant Eric. Quote-unquote, series over. Yeah. Someone saying, when do you think that they'll fly down? We're just waiting on word. They might be headed straight to Vancouver. What's that, Trev? You haven't heard anything? Okay, well, when I do find out for sure, I will pass that along to you. Stamp Hater says, I found the turning point was a tactical change from Chris Knobloch. Oilers tried to carry the puck into the zone for the first 3 games. When they started dumping it in, they wore down that heavy Canucks defense with Tanev, playing injured. That's a recipe for success against the Stars as well. Stampede Tanev plays for the Stars. Are you talking about Hughes, Zadorov, Soucy, Myers? But yes, the Oilers were physical. Even today, they got to Zadorov a few times. Carrick got to him. Kane got to him. I think Hronik took another lick in. They were physical on Hughes when they could catch him, but he's slippery, and he's quick, and he's good. Let's go to a few more. This one says, Tommy Hollywood, second line for life. Nurse with a super solid defensive game. Fourth line played great again. Timely power play goal. Great timeout. And the Stars blocking shots. What a solid playoff win. Bring on Dallas. That's from the tax man. Al says, Tommy, you missed RNH's most important stats. 58% expected goals for 5-on-5 playing against the Miller line. He was on the ice for only one shot against on the PK. Ridiculous. Al, I love it, buddy. Thank you for that one. AV getting in here says, Bush had a poor game 5, but is there anyone you'd rather shoot from the blue line? Feel like the boys crushed some demons tonight and can't wait to see what they bring against Dallas. Go Oil from AV. West End Rob says, boys, does McLeod need to sit a game? Won't hit, won't shoot, bad giveaways. Others have been pulled for less. West End Rob, you just want him to wake up and play big boy hockey, don't you? So do I. So do I. I don't know if he sits, though. I would do it, but I don't know if they do that. I have my doubts that Chris Knobloch will do that. He'll point out the good things he likes about McLeod's game and why he's going to keep him in. So I don't think it's going to happen, but if it was me, I'm a bit harsher, I'd be right there with you, be like, hey, maybe you sit out one. We need you to play big boy hockey. And he's had the yips on a couple of plays this series, and it has cost them. It almost did again tonight. I do value the good things he brings to the table, but we need to see more of them. And it's been up and down for him all season long. All right. Do we have Chris Knobloch?
We certainly do there, Tommy. Okay. This is Chris Knobloch, head coach of the Edmonton Oilers after tonight's Game 7 win.
Great 52-3 minutes. Can just maybe a thought on how well you guys played and how frantic it kind of got there at the end?
Yeah, it got a little stressful, and I think Leo said it perfectly. We would have preferred it to be less stressful and kind of cruise to the end of the game. And, you know, for the most part, I think for 60 minutes in Edmonton and about 50 minutes here, we played a pretty good game. Pretty solid offensively, defensively. I liked a lot of things that we did. We made a mistake. Always happens. There's going to be mistakes. And just gave them life, a lot of energy, and they really had they saw an opportunity that they were back in the game. And, we made it close. But overall, besides the last 10 minutes, I couldn't be proud of our boys.
To beat a team like this, you need contributions from everybody in your lineup. Same thing's going to happen with Dallas. I just want to ask you about those contributions and how everyone kind of chipped in, especially later half of that series.
Yeah, no, I think everyone contributed very well. Our bottom line guys on the penalty kill, mostly that's third and fourth line guys plus Nuge. That penalty kill that we had in the first period. I think that was about as good as we could have played in the first period. And then they get the 4 minutes to finish off the last 4 minutes. That could be a different game where we played, I thought, really well. And that could be a turning point in the game. But our penalty kill, like it has been for almost all the playoffs, has been really solid. And, now Sam Carrick's another guy in the bottom six who made a lot of contributions. I know he played about 10 minutes tonight. Key face-offs for us. Did a lot of good things. So, and then, we can talk about the contributions of our top guys, but we're talking about them all the time. But, I thought we played a pretty good team, solid team game.
Evan Bouchard, the points are kind of speaking for themselves, pretty dominant offensively, but then out on the ice to help save the series in the last minute there. Just a thought on all aspects of his game this series.
Yeah, he's grown a lot. I was having this conversation earlier in the year or day about Evan, about seeing him play junior hockey. We had quite a rivalry with the Erie Otters and London Knights, and you see this tall, lanky defenseman, and I thought, all right, let's take advantage of him. He looks a little sleepy out there. He looks maybe a little lost. All right, we're going to take advantage of him. Let's do that. Well, we never did. He was just such a good player right from being at 16 years old, and he's doing what I saw him do at junior level at 16, 17 years old. Now he's doing it at the NHL. Just a really smart hockey player, making good passes, good reads, and now his defensive responsibilities have just increased over the year. I've got a lot of faith in him.
Darnell Nurse holds a little bit of a meeting there at a commercial break. Connor talked a little bit about that kind of display of leadership, and then you use a timeout, which is somewhat rare for you, I think. And just maybe your thoughts on those two events and how it helped stabilize your group.
Well, Darnell's obviously he's been with the team, one of the longest members here, and has been a leader. His work ethic, his plays speaks a lot, very loudly. But speaks even more when you're playing well. And I think the last two games, he really stepped up and elevated his game. And for him to have the confidence to rally the guys and tell them what he said. Guys obviously appreciate that, and I think it was a well-timed thing to do from a leader.
Chris, I know the focus is...
All right, that was Chris Knobloch sounding very relieved, calmer than usual. A sigh of relief, certainly, as his team advances to the Western Conference Final. 3-2 over the Vancouver Canucks, 4-3 in the series. Off they go to Dallas to face the Stars. First time since 2003. 2003 was the last time the Oilers and Stars linked up in the postseason. Dallas won that one in 6. Edmonton took a 2-1 series lead. Stars stormed back with 3 straight and won it. All right. Keep those texts coming in. 780-218-9999. And if you're watching and not listening on iHeartRadio, TuneIn, or the EdmontonSportsTalk.com audio player, you're watching on the YouTube channel. Get into the nasty chat. Without further ado, it's our next order of business. It is the big save of the game presented by Christopher Boyle, business owner, tax saver. Take care of your family with Christopher Boyle, an experienced advisor with 17 years plus under his belt. Safeguard yourself and your family with comprehensive coverage for tax-free benefits during hospitalization or a fractured or broken bone. You'll get benefits pay from day one of the incident, so you don't have to worry about the costs and loss of income due to hospitalization. Preserve your income, protect your paycheck by visiting www.christopherboyle.net. Without further ado, YouTube Trev, big save of the game, brought to you by Christopher Boyle.
Awesome. Thank you for that, Tommy. Okay, so I don't think there's really any surprise for tonight's big save of the game. It's not going to Stuart Skinner tonight. I got to give Artur Shilov some love. Look, this guy, not a lot of no one really knew who this guy was, but he might. I'm very fascinated to see how next season plays out.
Yeah.
Does he win the net over to Smith? Who knows? But we'll save that for a later date. This goal, it was a save, but
should have been a goal.
It should have been a goal.
Yeah.
That's what I was getting at. Like I've seen this. We've all seen it. It's crazy. Leon's just automatic from his spot. This was 5 minutes going into the second period on the power play. And the thing that was most crazy about this play, Tommy, is it was Leon to Connor. It was Connor to Leon. And then that's the shot right there, right? But Leon went back to Connor, and then Connor went back to Leon. So, like, the fact that he had to double take twice, like that was just crazy. A little bit of a deflection, but, it's no question. That was easily the biggest save of the game. It was a great save, kept him in it. So Artur Shilov's unbelievable. A great story. Good for you. Future looks bright for you. You got the big save of the game in your last game of the year, so good job.
Nicely done. Brought to you by Christopher Boyle. Visit him, www.christopherboyle.net. I like this one from Mason in the nasty chat. Big save has got to be the kill on the 4-minute. That's a good one.
You know what? I actually just shed some light to that. I wrote it down in my notes.
Did you actually?
We hadn't quite. Yeah.
Oh, that would have been great.
So,
although that was a huge save. That was the biggest save.
It was the biggest save
of the game.
But yeah, it was impressive that the Oilers were able to do that. Not a single shot on that whole 4-minute Power play, that's crazy. Though
That is insane.
Connor Brown had a shot on that power play, or on the penalty kill.
Yeah, he had a breakaway.
Yeah, so yeah, that talk about a confidence boost.
Yes.
That was very huge.
Let's go to the inbox. Ontario Mom says, give Knobloch some goddamn love. He coached an amazing, amazing series. It all worked out. He got burned by the 97 plus 29 juice early, and he corrected it. This one says, boom, let's go, boys. Round 3 played a perfect opening 50 minutes. What else do we have here? Tom, what do they do about Ryan McLeod? Says this texter. 4-minute high sticky penalty and a brutal giveaway to start the Canucks comeback. He has been horrible in the first 2 rounds. Yeah, he has not been good. I earlier said sit him for a game. I agree with that. I'm okay with it. I feel like they probably won't. They value his speed, his penalty kill, sometimes his face-offs, but he has made some bad mistakes. Hopefully he takes a page out of Stuart Skinner's book and appreciates and learns from those lessons and is thankful for them. However, he might need to follow in the footsteps of Stuart Skinner and sit a game or 2 out. I think 1 game might be a good message for him to sharpen up. I think he does have some assets that are quite valuable, and he can be better. He's capable of being better, but the mistake like that one he had today that led to the Connor Garland goal, not good. The high sticky penalty, not good. Obviously, the Oilers did a great job killing that. Yeah, he's under the radar. He's got the bullseye on him from Oil Country. To a certain extent, deservedly so. Chase says you can listen on Apple Music as well. I did not know that live. I just thought the radio side was iHeart, TuneIn, and our audio player. But Apple Music as well. That's cool. You learn something new every day. We're going to have to make a new commercial for that.
Yeah, I think so.
We're going to do that. People are like, I don't know how to listen to this. Just tell Siri to play Edmonton Sports Talk. Or Alexa. Or
we
Google.
could have fun with that, actually.
Let's have some fun with that.
I agree.
There's an idea. Jot it down. This text out of Calgary. Tommy, what's the status of Henrique? Is he out for the playoffs, or is there a chance of him coming back? Thanks, Chad in Calgary. Chad, I think the fact that he's skating is a good sign. If it is a high ankle sprain, I asked Belzy and Cass about that, and they said that it's awful to recover from, and you don't really know. And the way they describe the high ankle and dealing with it is you lose that last bit of power at the end of your push on your stride because the ankle doesn't have it. The strength isn't there. The extra rest is good. I mean, they put him in for that 1 game. I think he played about 10 minutes, marginally effective. I don't think they're going to force it, but maybe some good signs. And the Oilers, by the way, are keeping it very, very tight to their chest in regard to injuries and stuff like that. So I would say Chad in Calgary, give it a couple days. I suppose there's a chance. I wouldn't count on it just yet, but I'd be pleasantly surprised if he's good to go. He's a tough cookie, and you know that training staff is doing everything it can to make sure that he is getting healthier and as soon as possible, for sure. Andy Pandy says, for those of us old enough, Tommy, Dallas evokes some nasty, but also some iconic memories. Lots of nastiness at a time when we were the bottom of the financial ladder. Marchant, Waite, Greer, Buckberger, Richardson, Cujo. Monsters in such physical series back then. The modern-day stars are faves for the Cup. If McLeod stays off the ice, the Oilers might have a chance. Oilers played an excellent 52 minutes tonight. Get Henrique healthy and remove 71. The Oilers have the capability to compete with Dallas, but everyone will have to pull on the rope. Andy Pandy, if Henrique is healthy and good to go, that's an easy, logical fit. But if you need him to skate and the ankle's not there, don't do it. Don't do it. I do vividly remember those Stars series, every single one of them, and they were nasty. They were physical. The Oilers did everything in their power they could to stick with the Stars. Did it the 1 year, couldn't do it the other 5. Tough go.
See if things are different this year, Tommy.
It's been a long time.
It has been.
21 years since that last series when the Oilers lost in 6.
82 years.
It's been 82 years. Okay, I had a text from my buddy Brett. he said, what the heck's going on? Did Kelly Buchberger and Igor Ulanov come in and teach these guys how to block shots and defend? Kudos to the Oilers because they were defending in layers today, especially in the first two periods. You notice that, Trev? It
Absolutely.
was really hard for the Canucks to get anything through, and when they did, it was feeble. Now, that changed in the third period. Part of it was the turnover that led to the goal that added a bit of a spark to the Canucks game, some hop in their step. But they were defending really, really well in this game. And I remember my buddy Brett, who loves Igor Ulanov. So I wanted to get that on the show. All right, let's get to the Damon Bunting Remax Elite Player of the Game. David Bunting, consistent, top-producing realtor in Greater Edmonton and among Western Canadian Remax realtors. He and his team would love to help you find that right home or make the move from your current home. He's community-driven and understands what it takes to make a difference in our city. Check him out, DamonBunting.com, or visit his Instagram at Damon Bunting Real Estate, the Player of the Game. YouTube, Trev, please.
Okay, I'm very happy to say this guy's name tonight for the Player of the Game. It's going to the hometown boy. We're giving it to Ryan Nugent-Hopkins.
All right.
It's funny because I'm going to riddle off some stats here, and a lot of people are saying, "Wow, he's quiet out there." You know, he's kind of shut up the naysayers a little bit with his performances out of the last two games. But before that, people were like, he's not really showing up. Well, do me a favor and go to NHLstats.com and look at the points. Fourth right now in league scoring amongst everyone that was in the playoffs.
Yep.
It's Ryan Nugent-Hopkins with 16 points. You go to assists, and you look at fourth on that list. It's Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. So, yes, he's having a quiet, but, I mean, he's a great complementary player. He always has been. And you talk about this, you look at last year, his 100-point season, he was probably the secondary assist guy on a lot of those goals. He was. But, he's setting up the plays. He knows the play to do. He knows the right play, whether it's on the power play, defensive end. This guy's an absolute beast. I love Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, and even if he isn't noticeable, just look at the defensive game, what he's doing. It's a treat to watch. It really is. The guys love him. And as for tonight, clutch goal. It was just a very clutch goal. 1 goal, 1 assist, 2 points. He logged in just over 21 minutes. He's a very versatile player. I don't know what else to say, Tommy. He's just an absolute beast. And Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, you ask any team, any manager in the NHL, they'd all love to have a player like Nuge. So, yeah, 93, he's getting the Player of the Game tonight. And stellar performance, a very quiet, very good playoffs, I'd say, for number 93 so far.
Yeah, through 12 games, 16 points. The top 4 scorers in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Number 1, Leon Draisaitl, 8 goals, 16 assists, 24 points. Number 2, Connor McDavid, 2 goals, 19 assists, 21 points. Number 3, Evan Bouchard, 5 goals, 15 assists, 20 points. Number 4, the Player of the Game, brought to you by Damon Bunting Remax Elite, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, 4 goals, 12 assists, 16 points. Cale Makar, hot on his heels at 15 points, eliminated from the Stanley Cup playoffs. Not bad. Not bad.
Whole lot of blue and orange there, Tommy.
Nugent-Hopkins, what do you have, 3 goals in the last 4 games?
Yep. Yeah, he's starting to heat up. He really is. That line as a whole is starting to heat up. The top 2 lines, it's nice. You know, you looking ahead, now that we can, the Dallas Stars, they roll 4 lines, and it's going to be nice. That's going to be huge. If the Oilers can play Connor McDavid separate and their lines are actually dominating, it's going to make the series all more fun.
It's going to be an awesome series. Buckle up, Oil Country. Get your rest. Get your recovery in. 6:30 p.m. Thursday night from Dallas. The Oilers and the Stars renew the rivalry, this time in the Western Conference Final. We will be on the air all day long on Thursday, as we always, pretty much all day long. We'll be on with the pregame show at 5 o'clock. Myself, YouTube Trev, and Matt Kassian. It's going to be a great time. It's going to be a fun series. Who knows what's going to happen? A lot of people picking the Stars. Let them. That's fine. But you got to play the games. And when you play the games, you'll find out. Yes. Absolutely. Yes. Trev likes it. Trev likes it very much. All right. I think that's going to do it. Yeah. I'm going to wrap this bad boy up.
I was just about to cue the music.
Cue the music.
Yeah, man. It's what an unbelievable night this was, Tommy. I'll let you do it, but I just want to say the Nasties, this was awesome. We reached that 300 total.
Unbelievable.
For people that watch us maybe later on, let's see if we can hit the 400. But yeah, here's to Western Conference Finals, Tommy. Job's not finished.
Twice in the last 3 years, the Oilers in the Western Conference Final, certainly looking to make a better go of it this time around, losing in 4 straight to Colorado in 2022. Can the Oilers change things? It all starts Thursday. Oilers and Stars, Western Conference Final. Edmonton, 3-2 winners over the Canucks to take the series in 7. That's going to do it for the GCL Diesel Oil Stream post-game show right here on Edmonton Sports Talk. A big thank you to everyone who listened, whether it was on iHeartRadio, TuneIn, or EdmontonSportsTalk.com, or Apple Music, and to those who watched us on YouTube. A big thank you to all of you. We really appreciate it. Thanks for playing along. Lots of fun today, all day long. We do it all over again tomorrow. The Nielsen Show, the boys are going to have a big one. Goal songs, recaps, all that stuff. Conches. Look out, baby. For YouTube, Trev and Matt Kassian, I'm Tom Gazzola saying, have a great night, Oil Country. Enjoy the spoils of victory and regroup for Thursday. Good night.